In this module, we'll be covering hand tools. So the next couple slides, we'll be getting into different types of tools and understanding what need to be done for each tool based on the type of work you are doing. So this section, and we're going to be covering the how to use tools safely. And in other words, is that you should be able to understand and describe how to handle tools, how to maintain them, how to take these different type of uh, tools that don't have power, but it still can be unsafe if you use it incorrectly. So again, we're looking at safety. You will be performing a performance test of using these tools and using them properly. So we're going to discuss them. We will view them. We'll put our hands on them. But by using them, you will be performing how to use it correctly. So you're going to demonstrate the safe and proper use of following hand tools such as levels, squares, clamps, and saws. We're going to talk about this in the classroom as an activity. We're going to be working uh, with us to provide hand tools or sets of hand tools. We're going to research the tools and identify local building supply stores that stock these tools. So in other words, I'll give you a heads up. I would say this weekend, go to Menards, Home Depots, Lowe's, Ace Hardware, and just look at these tools and see the difference in them. Look at the prices because you will be purchasing these tools in the future. So this information will help you to identify the different brands and maybe even the common brands, the off brands. Matter of fact, I would say go to Harbor Freight to see some of the things they got there. Their prices are usually better. The quality may not be there. They do have some high quality tools too, but check all these different locations out to determine what you will be looking for in the future. So collect information on the tools, including the prices, ranges, and customer reviews. So if you go online, you can find a lot of these reviews. They would talk about some of the problems if you ran into them. So again, that's why I say go to Harbor Freight to see some of the things. You may have some good comments from Harbor Freight, but then again, you got to think about the type of people are buying the tools. Are they professionals? Are they homeowners? Now, a homeowner may not understand how to use the tool or evaluate it correctly, but they got an opinion. Here's some of the things we're going to be looking at. Carpenter's levels, um, a line level, water level, builder's level, auto level, transit level, leveling rods, and spirit levels. Now, all these are a little bit different. Again, uh, one thing that all trades will use is a level. All trades. I don't care if you're an electrician, a plumber, a pipe fitter, a carpenter, a roofer. You're going to use a level because one thing we make sure that things are straight and level and plumb because things can be off if it's not done correctly. So tradesmen and craftsmen take pride in using levels. Anyone you see that throwing things up and they can eyeball it, don't trust them. I don't care if they get lucky sometime. Don't trust it because overall, the tools are there for a reason. The tools are there because we are not as accurate as the tools. That we will show you the different types of levels and why use so many different ones. Some of these you may not use at all, like a water level. Um, they put water in the tube, and it's a cheap way to use a level because water always seeks is level, always. However, it's not the most convenient, but if you're stuck and you have to get a level somehow and you find something cheap and fast, that's a way you can do it. But anyway, we'll show you these and go over the difference of these type of levels. As we look at this, we're looking at squares and the types of squares. These are all different types of squares. We got a Swanson square, we got a Carpenter square, we have a combination square like these. This is adjustable, this is non-adjustable. It's called a combination square because you could do 90 degrees, of course, but you also could do 45s by using this corner. This has the same thing. This will have, it's adjustable. You can use it as a measuring tool. You can use this as a measuring tool because this is a scale. On this one, this is a scale also, but it's adjustable. This is really nice to use for many carpenters use this when they're setting doors, the trim on doors, because they can slide this and use this as a guide because it's adjustable. Same thing with 45s on this side and 90 degrees on this side. This is a drywall square, and this is another type of carpenter square. There's a framing square, and this is very similar. The framing square will have other information on the square itself that you can use to figure out, like for rafters, which is figuring out lengths of rafters and so forth. Speed square. The original one was made by a company called Swanson, and they used to call this Swanson Speed Square. So the Speed Square, they call it a Speed Square because it saves you time in trying to figure out angles and things. We can use it for rafters also. Like I said, there is a rafter square that is used, but this Speed Square can do the same thing. It's pretty accurate too, but it can be used for an awful lot more things than just so it can be used for an awful lot more things than just making 90 degrees or 45s, but you can lay out rafters and any other type of angle too. But there's, maybe I'll put a video together where I can show you what a speed square would do. And that speed square, like I say, is one of the most versatile things. And it's small enough you can put in your back pocket and carry it with you. That's how I carry it all the time. When I using it, if I got a lot of things to mark or square or lay out or make a mark for cutting, I would keep it in my back pocket. Wearing the right pair of pants help too. Carpenter pants is probably the best thing, and maybe in the classroom I will explain, or the instructor will explain the type of work pants to wear. The carpenter pants, people sometimes call them painter pants. They all built basically the same way. Pipe fitters wear the same pants, but it is dungarees that is used to that we wear in the field. They're very rugged pants, but they get special pockets, wide pockets and smaller pockets for special tools. A rafter square, again, like I say, it has numbers on it on the side of the square that help you figure out these rafters lengths. They give you basically, it has a built-in chart on that rafter square, and you use that as a multiplier to figure out different sizes of your rafters. A miter square, again, it's a fixed side, and it's to make perfectly 45-degree angles or 90-degree angles. You could check something to make sure it is square. So this miter square, a miter is anything that is 45 degrees, at angle at 45, that we can butt to trim pieces going around a window or a door, that you can check it very quickly. It's non-adjustable, but this one happened to have a level in it. So if you need to check a level of something that is already fixed to see if it's level, you can use this part right here, that as a level. But besides that, this is a scale that you can measure things. It's very accurate. A very good one where the numbers on this scale will be engraved in it, not painted on, which you can scratch off, but engraved in where it will stay there forever. A framing square. It doesn't have some numbers like you would find with the rafter square, but it would have numbers that you can use for framing. For example, there's some common things you would find. Like this side, the length of this would be 16 inches. Now check this out. 16 inches is what a common spacing center to center for studs or joists or that you would find in the building. This on this side would be 24 inches, which is common too. Sometimes rafters will be set at 24 inches on center. 24 inches on center. So again, if you had that, you could just lay it down and mark it. Another thing, the width of this portion of this framing square is 1.5 inches, and that is the thickness of a stud or a rafter. A 2x4, 2x6 is actually 1.5 inches. And this is the width of that. So you can make marks very quickly on your top plate or your bottom plate to, and then know where it should be at and find a center from that. So in other words, you can really use these tools to speed your job up. So a framing square. But of course it's 90 degrees. And that 90 degrees, you can check to make sure things are level or plumb. A drywall square. It is the length of 4 feet, and it is designed that you can scribe on a sheet of drywall that is 4 feet wide to cut it and to make marks too, because it's a scale. It's a scale on this side, and it's a scale on that side also. So it's 90 degrees. A combination square, again, you could do 45s on this side, and you could do 90s on this side. It has also a level here, a bubble that we can check for level of different things. And some combination squares will have a small scribe built into this. You can unscrew and use the scribe wood very quickly. So that is a tool that can be, like I said, when you're looking for different types of squares, look for the ones that, like I say, can speed your job up. So if you have a little screw and scribe, little sharp point on it, it's like a awl. An awl is a pointed things that you can put marks into different things. So it's a scale, it's slidable. So this portion here would slide back and forth on this scale here. Basically, you loosen up this nut and you can slide it. And once you put it in place, you lock it in place, and now you got to fix. Because to give you an example, usually when they're framing around windows and doors, they will have a 1/4 inch gap around the framing to set the trim 1/4 inch all the way around. So you can actually put marks very quickly, put this against one side and mark it to set your mark so you know where to place your trim when you either measuring or and setting it in place when you nail it in place as a finish of a door. This is a sliding T-bar. Now, this is designed to adjust. This is adjustment nut where you can set it for any angle you like. So you can set it like any angle. So if you need to transfer a measurement to something else multiple times that is not a common 45 or whatever degree is, you can use this by adjusting it. So it's a sliding T-bar. Safety using and maintaining planes. A plane is a tool that remove small amounts of wood to smooth it out or to take materials off of a board. So there's different types of planes. There's block planes, jack planes, smoothing planes, and a joiner plane. Each one of these have their own purpose, but they all they will shave off um, parts of a wood to either to bring it down to the size you're looking for, or just to smooth off rough edges. So these planes are used to remove excess wood from surfaces and edges. Yes, that's what it does. But um, it's a tool that they make power planes too, but to work with a hand plane, it takes skills and practice to set it up, to make sure the blade is sharp, um, and set correctly at the in its level, and set right. That's a tool that you take care of. That you just don't throw it in the back of your truck, but you keep it in good condition and putting it in a tool case to make sure that it is not been damaged. Now, using clamps in carpentry, we use clamps, especially if you do cabinet type work or furniture work. Use clamps all the time for joining things together. You use glue and or different types of um, adhesives and other type of joinery to put things together, but to hold it together as you when you using some type of adhesive, you need to hold it together, not it falling apart. So there's many different types of clamps, and these clamps comes in a variety of shapes uh, based on what you're using it for. Not all clamps will work. So there's C clamps, there hand screw clamps, locking C clamps, spring clamps, um, quick clamps, web clamps. And you're not going to have all of these, but like I say, it's really going to depend on the type of clamps or the projects you're working on, because uh, some of these you may not ever use, and some of these you have a ton of. Pipe clamps for wood is a really common clamp. A quick clamp, that is becoming extremely popular, um, extremely. So again, there's others like hand screw clamps. Um, some old carpenters would have these, and that was a standard back in the day. Now, with technology, there's many different types out there now, and I will show a video on it to show you the uses and properties of clamps. Hand saws, there's tons of hand saws, and they look at these pictures. They all look completely different from each other, and but each one of these will be used for a special purpose. If I can say anything, you'll hear me say it over and over again. Using the right tool for the right job. Even when you're trying to cut something, wood or other materials, using the right saw can speed your job up, but more than that, it will be safer. Or have a quality job, because using the wrong saw for the wrong purpose or the wrong condition can actually make your job look worse. So again, so match the saw picture in this here to see if you can match them up for the right saw. So again, we're looking at the top all the way to the bottom. There's six saws here, and you got six different types of things. So again, from reading your book, you should be able to determine the purpose of these different saws. So match the saw pictures on the left with their most appropriate cuts on the right. So this one is called a coping saw. And a coping saw is designed, if you notice, it uses very small blade, very thin blade, and it got a very large gap. It looks something like a hacksaw that cuts metal or plastic, but this is designed to cut wood. When you need to cut intricate patterns in wood, this what we will use. And typically, a carpenter will use this, a finished carpenter will use this for trimming out molding, like crown molding or baseboard, and when they doing corners and joints um, to be able to match up, to have a very professional looking joint. There's no gaps in things. It takes practice to use one of these, but it's kind of fun to use a coping saw, especially when you perfect it and you see when your job comes out and looks really, really professional. So again, this is a coping saw. Now this is a for cutting smooth joints. And this saw, if you notice, it's very straight. And the teeth on it is designed to cut very smoothly. And it can be used in a miter box. A miter box is a box that is made. Maybe I could show a video on that of what a miter box looked like and how to use one. But finished carpenters, when they want to have very smooth joints, they would use this tool. Yes, can you use a miter saw, a power one? It's faster, quicker. But I'm going to say a craftsman that taking their time, and if they got the time to do it, and looking to do a professional job. And I'm going to tell you, people would take pride if when you see another craftsman coming in with their miter saw and a miter box, and they're doing it by hand. So I would say if you really want to perfect your skills, learn how to do it by hand first. Then use the tools, because now you know what to look for uh, when there's problems. Because to do it by hand, like I say, you developing that skill, using the tools to speed up the process, like power tools, it certainly can do it. Again, even drilling something, using a hand drill, not a power tool, but a hand drill, when you have to do it for yourself, you will learn how to hold the tools straight, how to hold it evenly, to be able to do the cuts and drill holes. This is what we call a hole saw, and it's used for, or they call it a keyhole saw. So a hole saw or keyhole saw, one of the two, depending what it's going to be used for. They make one like this for drywall, for cutting holes in drywall. But a keyhole saw, it starts out small, and you will use that to, if you're going to make a keyhole, for putting doorknobs in and things like that. That's what it was used for, if you're going to do it by hand. Now, of course, they got power tools you can use that will speed the process up. But years ago, this was the process for cutting stringers. And stringers are when we are building stairs to finish the cut. So in other words, you can use a hand saw or a power saw, but you don't want to cut too far because the blade is round. The top part will be cut even, but the bottom part may not be cut all the way through. If you cut too far, you make the stairs weak, but you could take this and finish it off. So again, this is for cutting stringers and or keyholes. This is a hacksaw for cutting metal. Everyone probably seen these before. It has a special blade that is designed with very small teeth in it, that is very close together, but it's designed for cutting metal. Now, not all hacksaw blades are the same. Um, just like any saw, is the number of teeth per inch. So a hacksaw, if you want something very fine, a very clean cut, you would get the ones with the most teeth per inch. If you want to cut something very fast and you don't care about the way it look, you get the fewer teeth per inch. Now this is, like I say, a drywall saw, and looks just like that keyhole saw I showed earlier. The difference is it cuts fast, and it does a rough cut. and it's designed for cutting to drywall or gypsum board. Gypsum board is drywall. Now this is what we call a back saw. Cuts trim. Okay, again, you could put this in a miter box and use it. Is if you notice, it's larger than that straight cut saw we saw earlier, and it's for cutting trim. And it's again used in uh, typically in a miter box. What makes this saw really important to us is that this part right here, it keeps the blade stiff, keep it from flexing. So this is a back saw, it has a back on it, and it keep the blade very stiff as you're cutting to make very straight cuts, very smooth cuts. Now here's something talking about maintenance of saws. The blades need to be kept clean, and you can use emery cloth to basically clean the blades. Because if you're cutting wood, rosin from the wood can start to form on it. It can cause it to drag somewhat, but keep it clean. As a matter of fact, keeping oil on it or a wax, help it to slide easier as it's cutting and keep it from binding. But more than that, too, it protect it from rusting. Um, so again, as when you clean it, you can add a light paraffin wax um, to the clean blade. Um, so clean it first, then you can add the wax. So always lay the saw down gently because you can bend it, you can knock the teeth out of place. Matter of fact, the type of teeth you see with saw blades, um, that not all saw blades are the same. Some saws are designed to cut with the grain, and other saws are designed to cut against the grain. So again, that's important when you keep that in mind. So don't let the teeth come in contact with any type of masonry material or metal because it can dull it. Years ago, I don't think anyone, I'm sure there's companies out there who still do it, um, but I think it's a dying trade. But when I took carpentry years ago, we had to learn how to saw, to sharpen our saws, the blades. We had to learn how to do it by hand, not using a machine, but taking the right tools to sharpen it. Um, and that's a skill. Again, these days saws, it's not like they used to make them years ago, but saws was one of the standard tools until power tools came out, and everything was done by hand, and so it took time. And so they had a lot more carpenters on the job to build a house or build a building because everything was done by hand. But today, and they kept the tools in good condition. They kept it sharp because it would wear out. Today, you don't use hand saws that often, so if you get dull, you just get rid of it. But can you sharpen it? Yes, if it's a good tool.